and welcome to the Elimination Chamber Review. We are the Dudley Boys of WhatCulture. I'm Adam Wilbourn, joined by Michael Hamflett and Michael Sidgwick, here to review everything that happened on this weekend's Elimination Chamber. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we only review Monday Night Raw, but also SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. AW Dynamite pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week, complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, they're joined by Hamflett and Sidgwick to review Elimination Chamber live on YouTube. Thank you to everyone joining us and sending us your comments. I will get to them in due course. But this was a rather divisive show, wasn't it?
So you very angrily told me across the desks this morning. I thought it was all right. Like, 2026 Fed, bit of a mixed bag. Like, something I really loved, as in, like, been excited to talk about it. Reminds me of why I love the job so much when something like that comes along. Some decent WrestleMania direction stuff that I really enjoyed. One match that I really was very disappointed in until we got, like, a series of unfolding events that I liked and was glad to see play out. So, my one criticism, and I never do this, I did watch it live, got excited, and ended up watching the whole thing live. And as much as I like singing along with the wrestlers' names in tune with the Netflix advert music, there was quite a lot of them this time. And I typically don't care or have enough, I don't know, drinks to make or things to do that I can last 3 minutes without some wrestling happening in front of me. But there was quite a few of them. Elimination Chamber. I was like, you could curb that by 1 or 2 for me to make for a perfect viewing experience. But we can't always have perfect, can we?
No. Hang on.
Oh yeah, Dan, I'm stunk. I forgot that. Yeah, sorry.
So you said, well, first of all, you started the podcast by saying a very divisive show, to which you replied, I had no idea about this because, you know, Hamflett's not on social media now, Mo. You angrily explained this over the desk this morning.
Yes, although I have calmed down a bit now because I
realised...
realised...
Do you have a moan at the people moaning about the Fed?
No, I do have a rant about a particular moan that people had about a particular wrestler on the show, and it's not Danhausen, by the way. But I think I'm leaning more and more towards Hamflett's way of... If it wasn't for the boobs, I probably wouldn't be on X anymore. Let's be perfectly honest here. Because I had a perfectly fine time watching this show.
I kind of admire that honesty, sir. This is because since he's become a bus guy, he knows that one of these days he's going to get rumbled doing some bus gooning, commute gooning. So he's getting in front of that now.
I think you find actually the Gooner comment of the week research has actually messed up my algorithm, if anything, probably.
Right, yes.
Instagram unrelated. But what I was going to say was I had a perfectly fine time watching this show. Agree with everything that we're probably going to say regarding the men's Elimination Chamber. And I just sort of casually went, I wonder what the internet made of this yesterday afternoon. And it was like that shot from Community where he walks in, the whole room's on fire. And I was like, oh. And then, like, I just got annoyed by several takes of people being like, you're not allowed to enjoy this. But then I have also mellowed in the interim and realised, because we often talk about this, it doesn't really matter.
Who cares?
It's all subjective and what have you.
Indeed. I thought the show was not very good at all. Initially, I was like, I'm really bored. The broad thought would be it ranged from mediocre to, that match did a good job of spotlighting that talent, to, God, this is boring. God, this is boring again, to, oh my God, this is hopeless. So I honestly thought it was well below par for the supposed global recognized market leader. Then I started to think, was it that bad? People are ganning on like it's Hell in a Cell 2019 bad. And I feel like my thing is you've got to criticize them correctly if you want your credibility as a hater in this game, okay? I think it was an extreme reaction, realistically. Then I thought, you know what? Some of the stuff that's getting praised for being, that was all right. It's like, is all right good enough? For how much Triple H likes to suck himself off on this unreal show is the God architect, the creator, Turns out he's more like the Destroyer, if anything. If you look at I got him there. If you look at this WrestleMania build, he had perfectly fine time of the show, guys. And guess what? I believe you. It's WrestleMania season. It's January to April. Should you not be fizzing a little bit with excitement more than, I like that direction and the show should be good?
I am. You called me out for it on Raw.
Indeed,
Which is it? No, I think WWE's fine at the moment. I think that 2019 thing is worth, remembering. I'm not saying that
remember where we were.
That should be the bar. The boom's over. But the creative boom is over. It's been over since the Netflix debut, realistically, and then there's been some highs and some lows. But it's because WWE's fine. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. That's WWE now. That's 10 times better than 10 plus years of Vince McMahon. 20. As good as 20 years of Vince McMahon, really. That's how I feel. 2002 to 2022 was such a low.
People compared this to 1990.
A decades long. Where we are now?
A particular segment on the show.
Oh, I just thought you meant generally, and I can understand that because 1990 was the year we started watching, and that would have been when the us three of that day would have been, well, the boom's over.
Yeah.
You're not touching Cody finishing the story, not touching the Mega Powers exploding.
Yeah.
Warrior's good, but it's not Mega Powers 89. Is it? If such things existed, and they did a bit. Keller and Meltzer, that's where we're at. But Fed was still goated for a good while longer. They'd yet to crack the UK. They'd yet the Warrior was still all right. It's all right. I think WWE's all right. The WrestleMania build I'm excited about, predominantly because of the WrestleMania of it all, more than, with the exception of the main event, one kind of individual match. But I
felt somewhat vindicated by the end of the show in terms of saying after Elimination Chamber we'll have a far more definitive perspective.
You would hope you knew what the card looked like, though. That's literally the bare minimum.
Yeah. I was just thinking there, we would have sat here 12 months ago and we just witnessed what we were all reasonably entitled to consider the Hulk Hogan turn of this generation with John Cena. And
he revealed himself to be a generational bum after that, though.
Everybody involved made a complete mess of it. Everybody. The card was really good. Elimination Chamber was an excellent PLE. Very overrated Kevin Owens Sami Zayn match.
Yes!
IMO. But
that's why I still believe in you. I try to bring you back from the brink every now and then.
I just know what I
reckon I could stage an intervention and I could get your brain back because sometimes your brain really works well and you can...
Agrees with you.
Sometimes you know ball. Loved it.
I'll leave the studio. And it looked on the surface Netflix blunder recovered, fed back, and in fact, 2025 went on to be a pretty poor year creatively. I think it's in 2026 WWE's way better shape creatively than last year. Way better. I know we're only in March, and WrestleMania often ends up being this kind of, it sort of defines a lot of how things have gone and how the year will go. If you have a really terrible WrestleMania, the rest of the year is spent almost in some sort of recovery mode from it, and then you end up thinking, did they manage it come the end of the year? And I would say on balance in 2025, they didn't. Even if they recovered Cena a little bit and Cody's credibility was restored somewhat, a lot of the rest of the show didn't really come back from a dicey start. I don't think there's any of that to worry about this year. I just think it'll be a fine year with, if you like WWE, some good highs and lows that I can't. There was one thing that was, stick that in the 2019 As Bad As video package, and it was Danhausen, and they might fix it. It might not even be broken. It might have just been a bit of a rubbish debut, and Danhausen might be good as gold in WWE and make a bunch of money. Can
I say this? Maybe with merch sales, but he's going to make loads of money. He's on a guaranteed contract.
I don't mean him. I just mean
the Fed.
He might appear as a draw for them. They look at data for everything, don't they? They're not making this signing without metrics that he'll brought to the table.
I'm fairly certain it's the only driving factor.
Yeah,
I mean, it's fair enough, I guess, if you're an artless slot machine like the Fed.
Well, let's get into the Elimination Chamber.
He loves a laugh.
We'll start at the beginning of the show with the Women's Elimination Chamber match. It was Asuka versus Alexa Bliss versus Kiana James versus Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez versus Tiffany Stratton, with Jade Cargill watching on from a suite, of course, and holding up her belt at the end with the eventual winner. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but there was no eliminations.
Match had everything.
5 women were out there.
It just worked.
Raquel was still in the pod. Alexa Bliss hit a twisted Bliss off the pod to take out everyone not named Kiana James. Bliss set up Kiana for Sister Abigail, but got mistered by Asuka and pinned by Kiana James for the first elimination of the match. Then Raquel comes in and just wrecks everybody. She hit a running power slam on Kiana James through a pod. That was fun, which got a big reaction as well. She also gave Asuka a Tejana bomb onto Kiana James and pinned them both 16 minutes in. I thought Raquel looked really good in here. Later on, Stratton goes to the top turnbuckle with Raquel Rodriguez, but Ripley is on a pod and hits a cannonball off the top of the pod to Raquel, who's on the top turnbuckle. Stratton hits the prettiest moonsault ever to get the 1-2-3 and lives with our final 2, Rhea Ripley and Tiffany. Tiffany slips out of a razor's edge, hits an Alabama slam for 2, but Ripley avoids a senton bomb and hits an electric chair facebuster for 2. I think this is where Tiffany got a bit bloodied up by all of this. Ripley gets sent shoulder first into the steel post. Stratton follows up with a senton for 2, goes to the prettiest moonsault ever, but Ripley shoved her off the top and into a pod, hit a riptide, and got the 1-2-3 to punch her ticket to WrestleMania.
So I thought this was really tremendous. It was a lot of fun. The Elimination Chamber is a 24-year-old gimmick for 15 years now, give or take, has had 2 matches a year, like on this pay-per-view alone. So it's not even the sort of thing that they dust off every now and then, which seems to be the case a bit more with Hell in a Cell now in an attempt to restore that a little bit. And over that time, the violence that they sell about and it's for this, like for that point, it's been this version of the chamber, the safer chamber, for like nearly a decade as well. So we've seen 20 maybe of these chambers.
Remember when they first came up with the padding and people were like, ah,
livid.
I want them to really get hurt.
Taller roof so that you could jump off the pod without crushing Triple H's throat. You know, the whole deal. No, people livid. But so
the bumps into the old one was so like it wasn't even worth it.
No,
because they crumpled and braced themselves so much that he couldn't get that pleasing sort of. No. You almost felt bad for them.
It would pierce their flesh in like the wrong ways, because it would just be like trying to put the like muscles through a cheese grater with no noise. It was like, well, nobody wins off that.
No.
Like, so we've had like 20 plus, I guess, like first mess on this chamber, and then 25 years or whatever it is, the Elimination Chamber itself. What I'm leading to with that is that the violence and the danger is like always overstated in the promotion. These chambers, you get a bit of blood, sometimes accidental, or you get cool stuff around the actual pods themselves when the glass goes or the doors get broken through or whatever. But like really, for the longest time now, it lives and dies based on the booking, the actual layout of the match and the stars in it. So like, how invested are you in the stars and how well are those stars arranged and booked accordingly? And I thought this women's match was a really good reminder of that, because the women's division for quite a while now has been in pretty good health. Like Raw more than SmackDown, but SmackDown at very least has a few marketable stars. Tiffany Stratton being an example here, who had a good night. Jade Cargill, who sort of is by default, but is the WWE Women's Champion. It just felt like, if nothing else, as the WrestleMania title decider, and I'm aware how that's going to be contradicted potentially in the main event, as the WrestleMania title decider, it still stands as a very effective stipulation, because the survival mode element of it, the need to just manage to get through it, I think really came through this match. I really bought someone like Kiana James. Like, almost didn't matter how long she lasted. It was like how effective she could be in the environment, because all of a sudden, like, there's that big WrestleMania sign in the corner. The biggest and best opportunity of her career was right there. You just had to grit your teeth a little bit longer through these wrestlers. Raquel Rodriguez's dominance was really well illustrated. Obviously it was. She was the story of the match. Like, kind of as she should have been, considering that she was losing. You try and get somebody over even if they're not winning the match. And part of that was because she's just been really well used on television. She's just come off the back of a feud with Stephanie Vaquer, where she's like shown herself to be quite good in weapon scenarios, and sure enough, she's bigger than the rest and stronger than the rest.
Their blow-off wasn't very good.
Not great. Well, I suppose like the segments building up to it, like, was where the violence.
It was built well.
She's got like that. I know, like, people keep joking that, like, Kevin Nash had told her to do nothing and it's working. Like, I give her a little bit more credit than that. I think she's had like a lot of different things, and of late, she's maybe put it all together, but a lot of those elements have been there a while. And I just thought this was a good advert for the division. More than the stipulation, this was a good advert for the division and the stakes. The fans in the building, this was a quiet crowd, and I'm not going to pick on the crowd. I'm going to pick on the matches that did not get the crowd elsewhere on this show. Really, really came up for this, which tells me that like it was a reward for the women that have been largely quite well booked. It was the reward for someone like a Kiana James, who we continue to enjoy as somebody that is like leveling up with her push. Tiffany Stratton had her best night as a babyface in ages, I thought. Alexa Bliss.
She's so much so that she convinced me for a split second. Maybe we'll be all right. I wanted Rhea to win.
Yeah.
From weeks ago. And I was like, ugh. I saw the thing where there was a tweet from someone saying, like, Bookie's favourite. It's always weird that we get odds on this sort of thing. Is Tiffany Stratton. And I was like, not sure about that. I think Rhea should be the Jade match at WrestleMania, but she was good in here that I thought, oh, that could work.
I'm not saying, like, I'm really not, because some of it was pretty good here. I'm not saying the work doesn't matter, but a bit like the Royal Rumble, if you've got it, if it's well booked in advance and people say you're down to the final four and the audience, and, you know, I include myself at home watching, buy into the stakes, which in this case, WrestleMania title shot and all that, like, the chamber itself does become secondary to it. And I thought this was like a hot and enjoyable viewing experience because of everything else but the chamber, really. The slam through the pods was really, really cool, but you could have achieved
some good splatters.
Yeah, there was. But I thought like this was more a credit to the women in the match and the booking of the division more than anything else. It was like a hot opener, and I think they like that sort of thing's been long overdue for them because the Rumble sort of the opposite. I think the Rumble did that division quite a lot of damage, whereas the chamber like won a lot of favour back for it.
I will say, in and of itself, when you factor in the very low bar that is a WWE violence match, which is to say not very violent at all, and you go in with completely reduced expectations to the point where you can only really rate it out of 10 out of 7, if that makes any sense. If you're rating out of 10, this thing will max out at a 7 every single goddamn time, because if you want that completely beautiful, visceral gut thrill of pro wrestling ultra violence, which I like, I ain't getting it in this setting. The closest WWE's come in years and years and years was Bad Blood. And even then, the universe, I think I speak for all of us when I say that the bracelet and the usage completely like undermined that whole thing. But
do you know he's wearing it at WrestleMania 40? I didn't even notice that until the other day when I was watching that again.
Is it?
When he's clapping Drew after he's just cost himself, like Damien's won the belt and that, he sat in his suit on the desk and like the jacket sleeves roll up and he's got the bracelet on already. It's like,
yeah, it's
just
high.
I think on a deeper level, isn't he?
Yeah, it's high art.
Deeper level to everybody. More of that later.
Can you make us better? High art with bracelets. So I will say, so we're going with an out of maximum 7, even though we're going out with 10. You're with me still?
Yeah.
I've got a question for you as well.
God.
What?
I don't know. I always think this is going to, yeah, another dent in Hamflett's diminished credibility. Here we go.
Question. WWE conditionally creatively bankrupt? Yes or no?
No.
Well, yes. Because...
Bloody hell.
Because, right, as the nominal heel, even though she kind of got cheated at the expense of Tiffany Stratton, which is not ideal, but it's only one night, people are going to come up for someone doing badass stuff.
Yeah.
It's just the universal wrestling language. I've often said that at his best, not always, when Bron Breakker's being Bron Breakker at his best, I don't give a toss about the initials of the overproduced show or how the worst guy in the history of guys is running the show, Triple H. That dude rocks, you know? There was an element of that wrestler rocks with Raquel Rodriguez, so I can understand why Tiffany Stratton got jeered, but nonetheless, back to creative bankruptcy. Conditionally creatively bankrupt, yes, because playing the nominal heel, even though she got cheered, it was the job of Raquel Rodriguez to run completely wild, okay, and do eliminations and whatnot. Until the bicep injury forced WWE to not be able to do this, they were going to do the exact same thing with Bronson Reed in the men's. So what I am saying is that WWE is bad in the planning and execution stages.
Or because of the order of things, that when they realised Bronson Reed had been injured, they thought we'll flip the booking of the women's one and we'll put Raquel.
Okay, I'm sure that
in the triple threat.
I'm sure that was happening.
We can still do the power spots.
Either way.
No, good take though. Like
Yeah.
we'll never know for sure. We could both be right in a way because we're speaking strictly in hypotheticals.
Indeed. So let's talk
Rich
about
tapestry of life.
Indeed, let's talk about reality now.
Okay.
The reality was this was fine for a chamber match. I will say that I thought the match within a match between.
Do you like a chamber bet in the Rumble?
Yes, I do. I think I'm not in love with the chamber.
No.
I feel like this year was a particularly bad year for it when it peaked at good for a chamber match, and the main event I thought was piss poor, like really, really bad. I have quite the comparison to make to it as well as we go deeper into this podcast. I feel like I've enjoyed Rumbles more than Chambers historically, but I feel like at this point, 2026, there's probably still more you can do with the chamber, regardless. So I thought the match within a match at the end was good, and even though it felt stunningly obvious that Rhea versus Jade Cargill was the more special, I guess, WrestleMania-sized match, I thought they did a good job of like manipulating me, and they had like that a nice little sprint at the end there to the point where I thought, oh, I could run that back because I've not really explored it on the main roster yet.
No.
Rhea versus Tiffany.
No.
So it's kind of they often do this, a bit of a glimpse into the future.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not putting these two in the last 5 minutes if they don't think A, they can do the business, B, people want to see it, C, people consider them on par. So I thought that was quite well done. The Raquel Rodriguez stuff, right? Split, torn, because on one hand, okay, it was a pretty cool showing. In and of itself, if I just take it as this thing that I'm watching, she kicked ass.
Yeah.
The other hand, sadly, I know she's had a better run of it over the past however many months, as bad as that Vaquet match was. Raquel Rodriguez is the type of treadmill-y wrestler where I'm thinking, I made this point when Lash was doing the Diesel spot at the Rumble. It's just a trope now. She's sort of taller and more muscular than the rest. Give her this Diesel Goldberg thing, you know? I don't necessarily see it as, star-making moment.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I get that.
So when I see a trope, lack of commitment, really, I feel like it's an empty thrill. This was also very low, thank Christ, on Epic Bacon moments.
Yeah.
Which I think was maybe possibly like a really like deliberate.
I thought we'd lost Rhea Ripley to Bacon for such a long
Yeah,
time.
and I thought we'd lost it. I thought that was kind of a deliberate, maybe we've been taking the piss, I will say. And I apologise in advance for the phrasing. I'm a 40-year-old British man and a father of 2. But my God, the Alexa Bliss aura forming was so bad that I laughed when the babyface got eliminated. She's not working a supernatural gimmick anymore, right? So when she's still kind of got that aesthetic to her act, and the face, someone told her she can act, and I've had to deal with that ordeal for about 7, 8, 9 years at this point, right?
Yeah.
She was good in the role of little brat wrestler, okay? My God, this idea that she can act it's an ordeal for me to have to experience. So she's coming out the chamber looking all like, I'm about to do some stuff. She's got some epic bacon in her, loads of epic bacon. Too much epic bacon, if we're being honest. So she's coming out like, I'm going to kick some ass in this match. Jesus Christ, when she tried to hit Sister Abigail on whoever, and she's
Kiana,
I
maybe?
think it was Kiana. She was all right, not great in this match. I was expecting a bit more profile for her, but the mere fact that she's in it, the WWE marketing machine is such that it will help her. Christ, these lot have got a promotional advantage over the rest. Anyway, so when Alexa Bliss is doing the epic bacon face and pointing at that sign, waiting for Asuka to get the Johnny out of her mouth so she can do the mist or whatever, however it works. And then she's just sat there pointing at the sign. Then she gets misted. I'm just laughing at her. You stupid idiot. You deserve that. I mean, it's your move.
I have some breaking news.
You got a journalism for that? You gotta be joking me.
Tweeted just a few minutes ago by WWE, as announced by who else but the Dead Man. One of the greatest tag teams of all time will make history once again.
Okay, I want to guess this. But no, I mean, like, don't tell us a tag team, but what's the history?
Who's going into the Hall of Fame class of 2026?
Making history once again. It can't finally be Demolition, can it?
They're not going last year.
Oh, maybe they're already in then. I don't know. There was a big push for a lot of years.
Are you saying Demolition?
Yeah, go on then. Hey, there you go.
X and smash.
That's as a result of like the end of a long like legal dispute that went.
Constant. What's he called?
Aye, that guy.
Aye.
Rico Constantino.
No, mate, no.
One, I think it was Bill Eadie was involved in like a long-standing concussion lawsuit
Yeah.
with about 100 gazillion wrestlers in.
Is that a class
Was that
action?
when they were like New Day probably better than Demolition?
Yeah, if anything.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, well,
Lovely
congratulations
Nice.
on going into a fake Hall of Fame. I will say,
No, but they'll be happy with that.
it's I always say, if nothing else, it's a nice night for them to get like the plaudits,
Mhm.
the standing ovations. I like it for that. If you know,
Oh, can you imagine on the stage as well on the same night? I wouldn't particularly necessarily want to attend a Hall of Fame because I mean you see the crowd last year. I haven't listened to Triple H go an hour, like, and that was some of his employees. But like you get the whole theme, the presentation, like so like earlier in the night, it'll be, here comes the X, here comes the Smasher. That'd be great. And then later on, is that Island Grace? It's the same in a way. Like
And is tickets for the Hall of Fame, are they free, just to clarify, over WrestleMania
no, they'll be
weekend?
extremely expensive.
So if you had tickets to a show, maybe like 4 shows across WrestleMania weekend, and they were all free, probably go to that instead.
Oh, 100%. I'd go to all of them.
well, WhatCulture are doing it, minus me. I will say I'm not being in the planning stages for this, obviously, because I'm not. I was invited. Obviously, I'd be the top bill, but I can't go. I took myself out of it. Why are you doing 4? This is not a plug necessarily, but why 4?
Because we can. I'm sure Michaels would say 1997.
What are we going to do content-wise for it?
We're going to be doing Raw and SmackDown watch-alongs and post-WrestleMania ups and downs. There was such a roaring success last year, the ups and downs, that we formalised the process so everybody can get like in a more comfortable position and in a place where like kids can come and watch because it's all ages, all access, food and drink available, but you can bring your kids. Last year we kind of like were told by the Vegas police, no, like kids can only go there. Sorry.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot of people want to meet Miller and be part of the post-show coverage. We're going to do podcasts after the ups and downs this year, so you're hopefully getting like live post-WrestleMania coverage. It's the whole weekend taken care of.
That honestly sounds pretty cool.
It's going to
Free.
be free. It's going to be badass.
Whatculture.com/live if you want to express your interest in that.
Yes, all the information will come via email because it is free, but there's going to be things like merch available as well and the timings of all the shows and all that. New York Beer House, which we have drank in. Remember before Double or Nothing 2023 where they were playing the wrestling music?
Oh
That's
my
where
god!
Perfect pre-wrestling venue.
Some of the goddamn beers on that menu was sensational because I'm a big fan of sour beer, and it hasn't really took off over here in the same way as like an IPA revolution happened about 10, 15 years ago over here now, to the point where it's so normalized that so many different breweries get it imported over here, so the prices are quite like, I mean, they're ridiculous. Everything's expensive but competitive nowadays. Like, there's just the sour thing hasn't happened over here, so it's kind of considered a premium option in an English bar. So it's always a piss take of a price. I remember I almost shot my load going into that bar.
Bloody
in
loads
Vegas,
of them. There is bloody
like
loads
3
of them.
years ago. Now there's loads of them. I'm like, they're the same price as the IPAs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Beer House for...
I had a Huckleberry Sour. Oh, my God. It was sensational.
Look, there's a better sales pitch than I could do.
Yeah.
SmackDown and Raw watch-alongs.
You'll shoot your load.
It's also, if you are going to SmackDown at the beautiful T-Mobile, it's right next to the arena anyway. It's the perfect sort of in and out area. So if you're passing by and you want to see Miller do ups and downs, on myself and we'll do the podcast, you can do that after you've attended the shows. It's going to be brilliant. And ups and downs at the Luxor in Public House, their pub space.
Love how if you listen to this podcast long enough, you might think it's called the Luxor. But we just do Luxor. No, it's
Yeah.
actually called the Luxor.
Luxor.
Bringing it back to Elimination Chamber, then next up we had the Women's Intercontinental Championship match between Becky Lynch and AJ Lee, but of course refereed by Jessica Carr, so we've probably not heard the end of all this because midway through the match, the turnbuckle covers come off. I think someone gets dragged away and gets yanked off. Regardless, Jessica Carr mid-match decides to reapply it, and Lynch boots AJ Lee into Jessica Carr, gets a schoolboy, and Carr is well enough to still count the fall, but AJ Lee kicks out. So Becky tries a roundhouse kick. Lee ducks. She just chins Carr instead. The referee's down, and AJ Lee gets the symbolic tap here with the Black Widow. The referee doesn't see it, though. So AJ goes to check on the ref, gets decked from behind by Becky Lynch, who chucks her around ringside. Lee fights back. There's a chair that gets involved in the ring, and Lynch drops AJ Lee off the top rope and hits a DDT onto the steel chair. Carr gets to her feet. Becky hits the manhandle slam, but AJ Lee kicks out. She tries to send AJ into the exposed turnbuckle, but the referee stops her. She wants another manhandle slam, but AJ Lee slips out of it, avoids a charge by Becky Lynch, who goes into the exposed turnbuckle, and AJ Lee gets the submission victory to win the IC title via the Black Widow.
Right, in the interest of balance, and I'm going to say this twice in this review, the crowd were really quiet for most of this. So to suggest that this was like a great match or even a good match might be generous because
Generous in the extreme.
didn't pull the building in till like the very, very end when they could see the finish line in sight and wanted to see AJ win the title. The reaction for actually winning was very strong, and you could feel the injustice rippling through the building when she got the visual tap, because I think that's when a lot of fans, like, that's the vocal anxiety that she might not do it for real. So I think they had him by then, but I think a lot of it played out to just that kind of like sort of quiet hum. So that's a strike against this match. I thought this was a really, really good carry job from Becky Lynch, and I don't mean that as a criticism of AJ Lee. AJ Lee's been gone 10 years, hasn't really expressed an interest in wrestling publicly from what we've been aware, and has had, this is a like first singles match, and everything so far, for the most part, has been a smoke and mirrors, do you spot stuff, War Games, the Wrestle Police Tag, and the like. I thought this match, I'm with Sidge, probably more than even you realise, Sidge, about how cutesy you can get with the AJ Lee character as a babyface. Yeah. And I really loved watching her drop all that in this match. They played with the Becky Lynch, like, I was surprised by what AJ can do at the start, and that was probably the only point at which she was like pulling those AJ Lee promo faces. Then it was business time. She was actually trying to win the match through her wrestling ability and kind of fooling Becky Lynch here and there. And then Becky Lynch takes over, and I thought AJ Lee was really good on the babyface sell. Super sympathetic. I thought still remembers the proper stuff, like where the cameras are and how to emote. And again, it wasn't getting much from the crowd, so you can only rank it as effective to a certain degree. But I was going along with it. And Becky Lynch, I thought, this wasn't like one of her like virtuoso nights. There's been times where you watch Becky Lynch. I think the favourite one for me is probably one of the Tiffany Stratton matches, but there'll have been others where you're just marveling at how like in control, she, like proper ring general stuff, the stuff Triple H wished he could do and almost never could. Like, she had one of those nights. AJ Lee, limited but serviceable and potentially over by the end. Can Becky Lynch wrestle through those faults? This is a dance, this is a collaboration, can we do this? And I think they did it. Like, I thought this was an over delivery really on what they were likely able to produce in a straight up singles match. I would expect more blood and thunder and fire from a stepped up rematch and a louder crowd with it. Like, there will be an expectation that this has got to deliver more, like in a setting that has been set up to sort of to serve them more. But there was a few times in this match where I was just so impressed with Becky Lynch's control of this. Like, to, I really don't want to sound patronising, to basically stop it from looking like it was about to fall apart. You know, there was a couple of times where they lost grip of each other, or AJ Lee was
the tease for the tap, the visual tap.
Yeah,
like the application of that hold was poor.
A couple of times where they were like looking like they were going to slip away from each other, and then Becky Lynch would either let that happen and then just move forward onto something else, or she would just put a little interlude in and then get back to it. You could see whether, you know, when you've watched it as long as we have, you could see where they're picking the story back up, but it didn't seem to affect the flow of the match in the building. There's one right at the finish. If you watch, AJ Lee sort of like charges at Becky with that same kind of like movement of a body that she's going to slap on the Black Widow. And I don't think Becky Lynch goes no, but she clearly communicates something and then just drills her in the face because they've forgot to do the bit where, well, AJ has forgot that Becky's got to run into the exposed buckle, because that's obviously a pretty key part of the story and what they're going to do next. And Becky just like reset that, and it looked effortless. Now, that's a weird thing to praise, isn't it? Because what I'm praising is the thing that I could see the wires. So that's, I'm not necessarily like praising the fiction of this match, but I thought this was an over delivery, if I'm honest. I enjoyed it as well. I quite like seeing AJ Lee win the title. I think I found myself,
as it happened, I was like, yeah, this is the right call.
Yeah, I was more attached to that decision than I expected to be. I thought she had to lose, and in the end, I was glad she won. And Yeah, not a bad night. This, I think the expectations will be higher going into WrestleMania, but this could have been like. Sid's going to do me for having too low expectations here. This could have been a dismal flop in the wrong hands, and I think it was like a long way away from that.
I just got nothing out of this at all, and I feel like I'm in like They Live or something, and only I can see it. You know, you don't know yet, but I'm going to tell you. Like what? I just don't know what we're doing here. I watched this.
Obey Jay Lee.
Yeah, I watched this, and I was like, crowd's pretty quiet, and the work's not very good. Kind of asked myself, like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? I was on my phone. What are we doing? And then I thought, well, what are you doing, Sidge? Because there were certain moves, or rather counters to moves, performed by AJ Lee. And I went, oh, that was quite pretty, that. And obviously it's Becky turning herself inside out. Like the various sort of takeover reversals to the air manhandle slam.
Yeah.
They were quite
It's
pretty.
a gorgeous bridge by AJ Lee at one point. One of those on your toes ones.
Yeah.
It was legitimately impressive,
It
wasn't
was
it?
just lovely.
It means nothing, but Becky's like fed her into it, and
Yeah.
it looks great. And
It just looked really nice, and I thought, God, this is the road to WrestleMania. It's got to be a big match. If you're going to do 4 PLE cards, and to be honest, right, if I was all the way dialed into WWE and indeed pro wrestling, I'd probably think, you know, that's crap, that, considering how many wrestlers you've got and how many adverts there are. Like, I think AEW's out of control, and I thought that even when I was completely in love, besotted with that product, but I think a few more wouldn't go amiss. But anyway, all of which is to say, I think 4 is a piss take. 6 would do, I think. 6 or 7 is the sweet spot, I think, for a pro wrestling show altogether. Or like 8 if you're going to go really short, like the old days. All I'm saying is if you're doing 4, the 4've got to be class. Like the 4've got to be like, if not class, then loud, dramatic, big, special, whatever. Like worth it. It just didn't feel worth it. And I'm thinking, God, you are. Correct myself. You can't go googly eyes of like a really pretty, gracefully done counter. Like there should be more standards to this. And going back to the They Live thing, I'm sorry. I'm not. I try not to be insufferable, but then I think, you know what? Back yourself, dickhead. Back yourself. I said from the start, I'm fully baffed by this AJ Lee character and the reception to it, and the babyface reaction to a character that operated best as this sort of like tormentor, mischievous thing, but now nostalgia is more powerful than anything else, and people, you know, getting what they can't have is equally powerful. And like this reaction, this mythology around AJ Lee, I'm just completely baffled by it. And quite frankly, watching it all play out in the promos, cut this year specifically, this match, I'm not being a dick. And I hate the pro wrestling podcaster who does this. So I do apologize because I know how awful it can sound. But God damn it, I was right. She's not that over. Like, the internet isn't real life. I don't know how this bring back AJ Lee clamor, if it really exists, got started, because, I mean, I can't hear it in the buildings. I will say they got there by the finish, but a lot of WWE matches do this. It's like, and I'm also loath to use this phrase, because I think there is more to it than that. And I know people who I find incredibly intelligent. I'm sat with 2 of them right now, who I know are wonderful people. And I don't like to insult them by proxy. It sometimes feels like an epic moment slop factory, and they got that epic moment with AJ Lee, and now it's like, well, don't react to this. It's not very good. I just thought this is not good enough.
Very excited to talk about the next match. It was the World Heavyweight Championship match between CM Punk and Finn Balor. Before we get to the match, let's talk about the entrance. Finn has his. Sorry, Finn, but it's just a Finn Balor entrance. CM Punk had a very special entrance in Chicago, of course. Sorry, you were going to say something.
I'm going to go home is what I'm going to do. Oh, God.
Oh my
Yes,
god.
please.
Yeah, serious Alan Parsons project, Chicago Bulls-esque, obviously. He's also introduced by former Bulls PA Ray Clay. and then he comes out to Cult of Personality whilst wearing the gear of the
Blackhawks.
Chicago Blackhawks. Yeah.
Yeah, this was really something. I watched it a lot. I have one problem with it, and I'm really curious because we teased this on the Raw preview. Me and Sitch haven't discussed if we have the same issue, but I'm going to praise it first. Like,
It was a ring introduction.
what do you mean? Oh, the guy's voice?
Yeah, I didn't like.
Oh, that wasn't my issue with it. Because the Michael Cole name checked him, and I'd remembered from the documentary on Netflix about that guy, who's obviously now a bit older and whatever. But I thought if they're going to do it, they've gone all in, and I kind of admire that. God, this was fantastic. Like, the lights went out, and I'll be honest, at first what I thought they were going to play was a remix of the Terminator theme, but it was this instead, which was obviously, you know, in the building, you're taking advantage of it. It's not a building that they've run ever televised since SummerSlam 1994. Based on the atmosphere, they might not run it again. Get back up the fucking Allstate.
But maybe don't price out the...
And that as well. Yeah, and that as well.
Like a bunch of Tories in these Fed buildings right
Yeah,
now.
not a hot Chicago night as opposed to every other one. So there's an element of like the ticketing has like obviously gotten out of control. The United Center, like, you know, they weren't super hot for Undertaker versus Undertaker, but they liked a bit of Lex and Tatanka. So which is it?
Yeah.
Like, it's, you know, and we've seen obviously United Center
That
used
was
for
the sign, wasn't it? I got stuck in traffic.
yeah, Lex Luger versus Tatanka, true story. Is one of the three angles that my dad still references to this day. You've got Jannetty getting thrown through the window, the Cobra, and Tatanka turned on Lex Luger. Loved a big heel turn, my dad. Loved it. Like, stopping everything.
My dad never talks about it because I think he just dealt with it and went and played with his slot cars in the kitchen when I was watching my Fed. My mum has got, how many frames of reference does my mother have? It's limited. She never really liked it that much. She used to, and this is a bit of a division in the family. I might have told you this before, but
It's time to play the game! Time to play the game! Ha 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 ha!
Who does my mum fancy the arse off as a wrestler?
Sean.
Nope.
I was going to say Sean, yeah.
Like she fancied the most. She probably
Dwayne?
Nope. I mean, she might have fancied, but like the most.
Era, please.
Loads of them. A survivor.
That impression is, it's not a game Triple H.
No.
Edge.
Yeah.
The Edger.
It's the Edge. She calls him the Edge.
The Edge.
Is the Edge still in it? She used to fancy the Edge. A favourite theme, entrance was I'm just a common man. She sings, she always often sing that.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say like Rob Zombie. I thought we were going to Edge things. Right a number 95. Is that still on, Michael?
She likes cock rock.
Mm-hmm.
You went to the same gig with her with a certain
She was
a certain seedy singer was trying to get my mother to get her tits out at Newcastle City Hall, and it's like it's not the 80s anymore. It really isn't the 80s anymore. Unsuccessful attempt, but you know I wasn't there, so I can't.
Good gig.
I will
Keep
say.
meaning to mess my brother about that. Say that your mum was there.
I
Could
sure
have indeed been the lady, the lucky
no,
lady.
No. I'll show you a picture. I better not be. Can you remember what you look like?
Nah,
doesn't matter. Well, I don't want to take the air chance. I don't think. Anyway, and that's it, really. 2 frames of reference. She fancies Edge and she loves Dusty Rhodes music.
So, yeah, not quite.
Oh,
so.
no, another thing. I dragged them all to Capital Carnage, didn't I?
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
She absolutely thought D'Lo Brown was the funniest.
Who didn't?
Got
No,
good
he's doing
taste.
that outside Buckingham Palace and stuff.
Yeah.
Queenie!
European champion
Yeah, she
stuff.
just still talks about D'Lo Brown to this day.
Sheriff of Nottingham. I was still fighting for him when he was in Lowdown on the Heat on Channel 4, man. No, the one thing I didn't like about this otherwise incredible, goated, like, never again, potentially, in the United Center for CM Punk entrance, so making the most of it while he was there, was the weird choice to have him walk through this corridor looking super intense while the music plays and the fans go nuts in the building, and have a bunch of extras just ignoring him. Watch it back. There's, like, people chatting and on their phones and just, like...
He looked a bit awkward.
It was like the corridor should be empty. They've cleared out because like the biggest star is it. You can't imagine like the Bulls in that run. You've seen it on the documentary doing anything other than people like losing their mind that they're running past them. Like, oh yeah, Michael Jordan, good one.
Yeah.
Got any points yet, Scotty?
Michael Jordan's up here. CM Punk's.
No, same in a way. But yeah, I just thought it was really odd that
Same entrance team, same guy.
nothing happens by accident, and that was obviously a choice. But I don't know why that choice was made. The gear looked fantastic. Always does. Go on,
Punk
sorry.
clearly took it personally after Balor dropped him on the top rope, ribs first early on, because that was where Balor focused most of his attacks throughout this match. There's a knee strike in there, he stretched him and what have you. Punk goes for a GTS, but Balor slips out of it. Punk hits a dive and a flying clothesline back in the ring, but Balor fights back with a headlock elbow drop for 2. He knocks Punk off the top, but Punk avoids a coup de grace and hits a knee strike and a flying elbow drop. Punk is bleeding from the mouth at this point and takes too long to make a cover. Balor counters, cradles for a 2 count. It's a sling blade. Goes for a running drop kick, but Punk clotheslines him and gets him in an anaconda vice. And Balor fights out, elbow strikes, elevated reverse DDT, and a brilliant coup de grace for a 2 count. Suddenly there, Balor looks to the stage. Maybe he's going to call out the rest of the Judgment Day. But he turned around into a Punk GTS, but as he hits it, Balor spills out the ring and Punk goes out after him. But Balor hits a sling blade on the floor and drives Punk through the barricade with a running drop kick. Balor goes for a coup de grace back in the ring, but Punk brilliantly transitions into a sharpshooter. Balor gets a rope break. Punk repeatedly booted Balor. I just want to give a quick mention before I forget to the post-show press conference where I'm fairly certain CM Punk had an imprint and Finn Balor's boot on his face. But yeah, Punk boots Balor, gets him to his feet, GTS, 1, 2, 3, and Balor shakes his hand post-match.
I thought this was an absolutely gorgeous match. It's my current match of the year. And let me tell you why.
All promotions.
For real. I adored this match. I'm going to explain it, and I'll tell you my thoughts. I liked it. I loved the Raw match, and I liked it even more than that. And yeah, I think at this point, like before Saturday, it was Ciampa and Fletcher probably for my favourite thing this year, and this took its place. Like, I love these two's chemistry right out of the gate, right? Punk and I made this point on the Raw preview, which you can still check out, and it seems like whether it was fact, whether it was fiction, whether it's the two coming together for the benefit of a story beat between him and Roman Reigns, it really, really stuck out to me how much Punk's age was brought to the front here. Like, maybe they've just looked at a couple of his matches where he does look older and tired, and have just thought, and he himself has said, well, you know what, like, let's confront this rather than trying to shy away from it. Like, I enjoyed it in the Gunther match, but at the same time, I was able to see where you were coming from with that. Like, is this selling, or is it just?
I think it's still going on.
Is it just too knackered to leave? Like, which is it? You know, and so maybe like CM Punk, you know, a historically smart pro wrestler,
A historically, chronically online pro wrestler as well,
has picked up on these criticisms and thought, well, let's make hay with this. And
which is, to be fair, it's about time,
right? And this felt like the first time he's ever leaned in, if indeed he was leaning in. And I'm going to choose to, again, I refer to it as feature, not bug, of
well, the
this
thing
match,
is,
right?
He's done it in AEW. He literally referred to himself in media interviews as the effing old guy on the team. It's just a WWE thing, as you point out, and on the Raw preview, it's just something they don't typically do. If anything, he's probably wanted to tell the story for a while because he likes to, I know this is going to sound incredibly ironic to half of the people listening, come viewing, he likes to be honest.
Yeah.
That half of the crowd who are going to take him as that.
Well, because he knows the story is then more believable.
Yeah.
Like,
indeed,
there's a, you know, he kind of tries to read where.
So I think it's a reflection of how much pull he probably has now, where he can really get that across, because it's not a Fed thing.
Commentators are not chucking around phrases like no spring chicken or maybe past his best, that were phrases used here. And to that point, they used other phrases such as, but he doesn't know when he's beat, but he's got a will to win. And that plays into the likes of the matches against Gunther. It plays into this idea that he's this fighting world champion that will pretty much take on all comers, even if it's at his own expense. The dive was dropped into the match at a particular point here when it looked like it could cause him injury because he was so tired. But he was like forced into having to make a couple of like risky judgment calls within the body of the match. My God, it has been a while since CM Punk has paid tribute to Bret Hart, because Hangman Page and others were right to point out that they were taking the piss a little bit. Some of the tributes were a little bit too on the nose to even be artful and elegant. It was just
I like Bret.
I like Bret. Well, I like him more. Like, and it was fun, and then it kind of wasn't. and it weren't away. The way in which it came back here, I was in love. So CM Punk has said on the record more than once that he was at SummerSlam 94 in the United Center, and he's watching Bret and Owen in the cage, and it's like, you know, wrestlers have a few of these moments, I imagine, but that was the one where he was like, he's the guy, he's the best that will ever do this, and I want to do it too. And it's the wrong 5. Dave gave the 5 to the SummerSlam match when he should have given it to the WrestleMania.
Thank you. Yes, everyone knows that.
Nonetheless, it's Bret in a cage fighting.
Do you reckon it's one of those when the Academy overlooks a director and thinks, Jesus, probably should have given 5 to that. Let's give it for the lesser film, just so they get the credit they deserve.
Feels out of way.
Certainly a much better match.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought now because I was thinking about how Bret in the cage and Bret versus Austin, the only 2 Bret matches that Dave considers as good as last week's Dynamite main event.
Kenny versus Swerve was better than
yeah. That was 2 weeks ago. Anyway, let's get on to the proper stuff. So this match, right, in 1994, Punk's in that building. He feels that he believes that he wants it, and he's doing it. He's here in the United Center. He is like a dog with a bone, obsessed in this match with trying to get this sharpshooter on Finn Balor.
Yeah.
I counted 4 attempts. There might be more. He constantly gets Finn down on the ground. He sucks wind. He's tired. He's old. Every time Balor gets up, he recovers so much quicker. Every sling blade is like a bullet to CM Punk's neck, right? Because the difference, I know they're similar age, but the difference in them physically in every respect, like, is obvious, and it's playing out throughout this match. And every time he goes to that sharpshooter,
an athlete.
Every time he goes to that sharpshooter and he can't do it, Finn's either got a counter or he powers out of it. And then that last power out, where he stops just short of breaking his nose, and again, work, shoot, I don't know. Punk's got blood all over his face, so that bit of it is a shoot. But like, Punk takes some time in the corner. I'm buying in as Balor just like drilled him for real here, or is this actually a story beat? Because from that point on, Punk abandons the sharpshooter strategy and he does go to the dive and he goes to GTS attempts instead, and he goes for his elbow, and it's almost like I've got to stop being my hero and I've got to be me. I'm the best in the world. Like, the hero worship has passed. I wanted to do that because I love Bret. And just when you think the counter game is done, he's going to be CM Punk now. He's going to be done the old way. Like, he's like, well, what if I could be CM Punk and Bret Hart at the same time? And he goes for the coup de grace and he hits that like sharpshooter counter and he gets it anyway.
Oh my God.
An incredible counter, an incredible move, dropped into the match at the exact right time, and it still doesn't get it done. Balor makes it to the ropes. So he's done it. He's tried it. Well, my plan A didn't work. I'm just going to have to be CM Punk through to the bitter end. GTS's Balor rolls out, so he's got to get him back and he's got to win. Like, structurally, just a really, really stunning and thoughtful piece of work from 2 of the proper ones. Again, an improvement on what I thought was a great Raw match. Big caveat, audience didn't give a damn, right? Didn't give a damn for 3/4 of this.
Yep.
Big problem. Yeah.
How do you get out of this from the Fed fans and the Levesque? I'm
like,
serious. It is.
I could, and maybe I will just watch this on mute, because I felt like I was watching it on mute because there was no noise. I'm marveling at this. I'm watching it live at probably 1 a.m. at this point when this is on, because it started at midnight, maybe a little bit later. But I was completely engrossed. I love CM Punk. Of course, it makes a difference for the wrestlers you're watching. I love CM Punk. I kind of back this program, and I'm really glad it's happened. And I just think they're telling this really, really great story. Balor's having one of his best singles match nights outside of the CM Punk match in ages. And I don't care. They do not care. They're waiting to be instructed that the finish is coming, and that's when they pop and CM Punk wins. But it's like, it's Punk in Chicago, so even that isn't jiving. So the match, in one of the strictest definitions, did not work, you know?
The strictest definition.
Because the audience just aren't coming up for it until they see the winner they want. Balor, like, the teasing of the Judgment Day thing, like, for WWE, incredibly subtle. Like, twice walks past that rope and takes a look and thinks on it, and it's a beat. That's all it is. It's just a beat. He kind of looks towards the entrance, goes, and then decides against it, and then he does it once more in the match, and at no point do they revisit it other than that. Michael Cole said on commentary that Dominic and JD are in the building, so it's the idea of the looming threat. But Balor never, he never even slides out the ring and kind of like does the long NXT-esque look. You know, he just considers it like, no, I can do this. Look at me. I'm physically better than him in every respect. And he gets got by the more experienced, better man. I loved this. I don't know that Punk can have a better match. I think he can have a more dramatic one with the Roman Reigns, and I have absolutely no doubt that the stadium will be louder for Roman versus Punk, this all-star proper WrestleMania main event than this match. But I'm fascinated to see psychologically how he approaches it, because I think this one will take some real beating. I loved it.
Bored shitless, really. I was bored shitless. I really liked it. You can go and listen to the Raw review. I really liked the Raw match that they had. It just felt like a bit leaner than this. It felt like I had a bit of I did not expect to see these two wrestle, because as I've said before, like, Balor really came into the mainstream consciousness pretty much as soon as Punk started to get miserable looking, when he's outright laughing at Triple H on Raw, and then, you know, Punk leaves, and then Balor becomes the next big thing, and then you never think Punk's coming back. And I thought that's really cool that this match is happening. And it just came to me as a surprise when it was CM Punk had one of his better nights in terms of cardio shape, and it just flowed. It was like a lovely, elegant pro wrestling match. Thought this was a struggle. Like, I've said it before, and I've got a eerie feeling this is going to come up quite more, because he ain't getting any younger. This thing with CM Punk, and it was so pronounced in the Gunther match, and I hope he never works a match as long as that again in his life. And it was happened again here. It happened against AJ. It didn't really happen in that Balor match. He has nights when it doesn't really happen. But my God, I can understand, and this is like, more people should be honest about this, in my opinion, why you loved it and I just was bored rigid, because I'm not moved by CM Punk anymore. I do not believe the wrestling character anymore. I'm just not a fan of his personally that much anymore. So when he's taken forever to do out, and he's doing his normal match-ish on 0.75 speed, and like, it's just it didn't help here that I thought it was one match too many, really. I know it's in service of the story within the Judgment Day, and by WrestleMania, and maybe the night after WrestleMania, all of this will fit so neatly together in the booking. I can acknowledge that. As an experience in and of itself, I just found it really a quiet struggle where they were toiling to get something. But here's the twist. That sharp shooter reversal from the coup de grace was breathtaking. And it's so...
The brass bollocks on CM Punk, of course, to think, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. They couldn't have timed it any better. The idea was incredible. It's so perfect for the CM Punk character, particularly where he is at now, in that he knows. And again, we've talked about this at length before the review of the match. He cannot get away with being the best in the world, CM Punk. By the way, I'm gassed 5 minutes in. And like I was going to say as well, I just glossed over, but Balor doing the control and for how long he was applying certain holds, I'm like, Jesus, you don't have the credibility for this. You don't, like, not in character right now, not in storylines. It's taking a goddamn age. But, so the trick that CM Punk pulls, and it's proven effective. Look, he's arguably the biggest full-time star in pro wrestling right now. Well, there's loads of money being made in it. Like, probably bigger than Cody at this stage.
I think he's a more universally beloved babyface.
Of course he is. I mean,
it's felt like that at the house show this year. That he's kind of supplanted him a bit in the booking to that as well.
He is the biggest full-time star. You could probably argue biggest full-time star generally, because Roman Reigns ain't getting the reactions he was about 2 years ago. So it's obviously working. I find it a chore to get through that winded, agonized, like, eternity selling that he does. But the trick is, he'll get his ass kicked, he'll get physically outmatched, he'll create clever openings for himself because he's playing this wise old man Punk. And then he'll do one just incredibly, beautifully, almost breathtakingly clever in-ring decision and turn the match in his favor. So his mind is still really sharp. He knows when to do that. It's just, I find when people go, oh, it's like a great struggle, and I'm like, yeah, it is a struggle. It is. I find some euphemisms get thrown around with CM Punk and his 2026 output. I personally don't like it, but it's clever. It's clever and it's honest. In the ring.
I tell you where, like, I wonder if, so there's an alternate universe where this match is just hot throughout. They're in Chicago and that. The commentators were big on it in the opening stages, and I wonder if there was just an expectation that, because they kept saying, this is the away game.
2 seconds, I need to check my phone.
This is the away game for Finn Balor. Like, he's had the home leg and he's lost. So this is the
My
away
daughter's
game.
not very well. She got sent home from school. I'm
Oh.
not trying to be...
Like, I wonder if this match played out to the crowd that they maybe expected, where it's like, right, Punk's at home now. And then Balor, as he kept doing, like defending that sharpshooter, cutting off with the sling blades. If you're the away team and you're doing that, like, and I'm imagining like my football team playing a vastly superior football team, like, and them just cutting like Arsenal, like cutting you off and cutting you off and cutting you off. And like, oh, come on, like this is a stadium light. I want to see us win. You can't keep doing this. Like, I wonder if they expected that atmosphere and it just never came.
Yeah.
And I think that improves the story even more. Like, we can it's fine. Like, people didn't like it or did. I love this, but I can acknowledge that without a loud crowd, it did not connect in the way they wanted. But I wonder how that goes if this is molten Chicago and Balor keeps cutting off and keeps blocking Punk's plans, and then when Punk's plans do come off, that wooden all-state roof rattling and whatever, just like on a different night. But I really don't want to come across like I'm blaming the crowd. Like, Murray made the exact comparison I had in mind this morning when we were talking about the match. He did call the show Generational Hate Watch, so maybe his skews he might have wanted to see some of this fail. But he made the comparison of Bryan and AJ in that stadium. Now, I didn't like that match, but I was also kind of like overwhelmed with how much
I thought it was a good match that those swine didn't appreciate.
And it, like, but I had that comparison in my head too. I was like, I'm loving this. It's silent, like, and it's just, and I again, like, I welcome the idea that it's because I'm interested in the Punk character. Like, I love what he's currently, the work he's doing.
Wider topic, and again, I just get baffed fully watching WWE a lot these days. I'm like, well, why is everyone going crazy for AJ Lee? You'll find out in 2 months it's not actually that over. And it was overstated all along. I just think to myself, what are we doing here? Like, CM Punk is the biggest star in wrestling. CM Punk, I don't know if it works as well as other people. That's my opinion. I've got a right to hold it. Wants to sort of do a elegant, struggle-driven approach to a pro wrestling match in which intelligent ideas, well-timed, will win him the day. These WWE fans, like, I don't want to be reductive. Again, I met loads of them in real life. Loved them, meeting them at the shows. They don't give a toss about it. But the guy who does it the best and the most is the biggest star in the game. I mean, he's great at promos. Maybe that's got a lot to do with it in the presentation of the character. I just cannot, for the life, like, what do you go for?
There's definitely
it's just this disconnect. I don't know what I'm doing.
There's like you do get less of, in general, this is, well, not just this match, but this match is a really good example of it again, because if I can sit here and praise the beats and then acknowledge that there was silence to so much of it, there is less vocal reaction to ebb and flow than there's ever been.
Yes.
But to your point about like CM Punk being a measurable draw and being a star and like the reactions to the big bits, the emotion's going in because it wouldn't come out in the other areas where it does. Do you know what I mean? The noise, the feeling would not exist elsewhere if it wasn't being implanted in by a Punk or by the various other stars that get over. But it's certainly not emerging for, say, like 15 of a 20-minute match or whatever. Like, you don't, you can pop at an entrance, you can yeet and whatever. You're not going to come up for like finish after finish after finish promo. Like night after night after night after night, CM Punk is like an over pro. I feel like bad because I'm using Punk as an example and he's this big divide between me and you, but you could apply this to Cody. Is probably a better example, right? Cody has resorted to, and I think he's gotten a bit pop thirsty.
He's spamming.
He's resorted to like a lot of like weird decisions in matches to keep that noise.
He is spamming those finisher kickouts.
That top rope crossroads against Seth, I wake up screaming thinking about that one because what were you doing, pal? But it's because I think he's noticed this is Cody, like an 8 of the ground pro wrestlers. Oh, they're not. Where's my ebbs and flows? It's like, oh well, time to chuck my finish away with the top rope like version just to keep ebbing and flowing. Like that, and some wrestlers won't do that, you know. Like
I know this is my answer to everything. They need wrestling. The industry over needs to do way shorter matches.
Yeah,
way shorter because people now receive it. And look, AEW have had two unbelievable. Sorry, am I allowed to talk about AEW?
Sorry, free country.
He cut me. Well, it wasn't last week. You cut me off.
Collision, come on.
You did cut me
Yeah, it
off.
was Collision. and we
Use
were talking
good
about
double
Raw.
examples.
Free country wasn't last week. I had to pay to get in, apparently. AEW have had two, I would say, white hot crowds on Dynamite the last 2 weeks. Like, really, really, really loud. I think it's kind of an AEW problem as well. The two companies that exist in the world, AEW and WWE, kind of trained their audience. Most of the matches go long, back and forth. And to be fair, it's a problem that kind of predates AEW generally. People now know, now it happens in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Nothing happens in the first 5 minutes. I would be hugely in favor, because I think creatively, like, pro wrestling isn't amazing right now. People love AEW, and yes, the main event scene is strong, but creatively, I'm talking creativity, new approach, something that's grabbing people. I don't think it's amazing. New approach is needed. I think shorter matches, like, so many matches that don't need to go longer than 10, which itself is not.
Yeah.
It's not short, that. And maybe this is the wider consequence of that. It's like a conditioning exercise of, all right, these wrestling matches are too long. Nothing happens in the first 5 minutes, so I'm not going to react to them.
Was this 20?
Yeah.
I don't know, actually.
I think it's about 18, 19.
18, yeah. Which is not crazy, but you could definitely cut it to 13 and you wouldn't lose a lot.
Or you
if
could
think about
or
it.
or alternatively, you can cut a lot of the TV matches down to 5, and this stands out.
Yeah, that's probably
That's the way to do it,
that's
man.
the smarter way to do it. Because then nobody's feeling ripped off. TV's got a zippier pace, and big shows feel like the big shows. Yeah.
20 minutes, 21 seconds.
Yeah, like not overindulgent, especially by today's standards.
For a world title match as well.
Punk's not terrible with his match times. Like,
He was at SummerSlam
I know.
last year. Jesus Christ. What's
Like-
going on here? So droll.
Let's talk about the mystery crate.
all
That
right.
came next.
Weird.
There it is on the stage. And
Cole and Wade didn't want to talk about the mystery crate, did they?
no,
Oh, it's a crates here, isn't it?
that's
Michael
crate
Cole.
time.
That was a bit. What was the Bray Wyatt match that time?
I'm doing it in no, it was they
Matt
did a
Hardy one.
deletion one on
Oh, of course, yeah.
They did a deletion one on Fed TV, and it's fed by Vince McMahon. Michael Cole apologized for what they were about to do on their own program. It wasn't even subtext, not even an undertone. Like, we are doing this because enough of you have asked for it.
It was just
Obnoxious is the word that they said.
it was just in the tone here, but there was a to your point about the TV build as well. It matched that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Danhausen is being presented, and this is fine. He's not the fucking Undertaker, but Danhausen is being presented as a little irritant.
Yeah.
And that's fine. He's a comedy character, and I do find him irritating, actually.
So there's the mystery crate on the stage. There's Adam Pearce, the SmackDown GM. Can't remember what his name is.
It's Nick Aldis.
Thanks. They've got crowbars. They pop it open, and
Fought Cody at All In, so you should know this. They were near the announcer every single week on SmackDown as well.
there's a wooden coffin inside the crate. And then I don't know how they did this, how all the people got in there, because about
hate
8
you already.
women came through, followed by Danhausen, who got a bit of a reaction from the Chicago crowd.
About
but then
200 of them.
But then they do the very nice, very evil, and he walks down to the ring and he hands Michael Cole a jar filled with teeth. And then they get in the ring, and Danhausen does his pose. And the lights go out. Everyone starts booing.
This was, I loved this. I found this hilarious. People have likened it to the gobbledygook.
Yeah.
You do a reveal. You tell people when it's going to happen. Anything out of a box gets over. Apparently fucking not Jim Cornette. And then...
Egghausen.
Egghausen. And...
Hausen.
It's one of those where clearly WWE, I mean, this dude, as a few people have said, has not been on AEW TV for a long time. He has not been popping up, because even before he appeared on TV, which is how he appeared on TV really, is because he kept popping up, going viral with, like, you know, his skits and his bits and his whatever. Like, he hasn't been a viral sort of ever-present. It's like doing Joe Hendry and the song. WWE timed that perfectly because people knew who the goddamn hell he was. So when he came on NXT, it's like, hey, it's Joe Hendry. And then, he has enough strong performances. He has enough of the sort of ability to manipulate the crowd to stay over and gets the title. It's like, that ain't happening for Joe Hendry if they do it 2 years later. Hey, guy, it's a guy with a song. Yeah, might as well be 10 years ago. It's pro wrestling. Yeah. Danhausen hasn't been this online presence in ages.
Whoa, the crate's got £1 fish man in it.
Yeah.
I'm so big for that.
Wow, £1 fish. Oh my God,
belt him up.
Isn't that great? Oh my God, it's Channel 4 Sunday Night Heat essay. Rios, give him the belt.
I'm in my mum's crate.
Vroom, vroom. That's what great crate sounds like. It's oh my God, it's Wolf from Gladiator. Great. Who gives you extra? It's Howard from Halifax. Okay. I mean, look.
No, it's been a while since he was a featured guy.
It was so.
Stop! I could have dropped my crate.
Yeah, it's been a long time since he was a featured guy. Feel free to come up with more of this stuff.
Love Vines.
I love Vines, man. I love Vines.
It's coming back, isn't it?
Yeah, apparently.
The Vine guy.
Yeah, the spirit won't.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It feels like that last bit of the end of the world's happening every day, guys, culture. And what I loved about Vine, some of it was just funny in really idiosyncratic, specific ways where you can tell these are other people's in-jokes. But I just like the idea of, oh God, there's a wider community out there of people who have nice laughs.
The last social media that didn't hate everybody.
Yeah, and everything. Yeah. It's just like, oh, other people have in-jokes as well, and I'd love to be a part of one someday.
Yeah.
And now I am through the magic of Vine.
Yeah.
I thought it was a nice tool. The basic thrust of why this failed is because no one had a clue who the dude was, and he didn't do anything to impress them. That is the most basic Occam's razor of the situation. But it's just funny how there's a lot that goes into how funny this was. First of all, no one knew who the dude was. He didn't do anything. What do you expect except the smattering of what the hell and boos after the fact when they realise they ain't getting more than that. But I loved, as a hate watch, this. It was wonderful for that big nose idiot Paul Levesque, because how out of touch do you think you're just so magic at the idea of, we know who he is too, guys. Let's get him on for everybody. He hasn't done anything and no one knows who he is, Paul. There's an arrogance fueling this entire rollout, which I found funny. And you know what else I found funny? Like, very nice, very, very nice, very, very evil. Right, okay, everyone loves Danhausen. Everyone loves that Danhausen. Well, to me, he's a passive-aggressive twerphausen because the way he went on, and I don't know the ins and outs of the AEW thing. I don't. But my God, I love how the dude, like, everyone likes, everyone loves Danhausen. He's very nice, he's very evil, he's very funny, and, whatever. He meets CM Punk, and then he's posting fucking gifs of fucking tumbleweeds all over Twitter and just being a miserable prick about how he's stuck and stuff. And it's just
Has he done Escape from Prison House?
I don't know. No, he did. He did like 3 or something like that.
Did he? Right.
He did the broken handcuffs.
The genie from Aladdin losing his cuffs.
Passive aggressive twerphausen. So it's like kind of dents the facade of like the mischievous funny guy. It's just, you cannot, when you've got that kind of gimmick, let me see the facial expression of the dude wear it without the face paint. Like, through those gifts alone, I'm just seeing this dude like, I should be doing whatever. I should be like, should you be doing? I don't know. Maybe Tony Khan treated him like shit. I don't know. All I know is it was just funny after all that time. What did he expect? He was a meme. Definitionally, this pop ain't gonna last much longer.
Yeah.
I was so protective over this dude as well. It's infantilized.
I can imagine. Yeah, it's like that.
It's weird. Like,
I'm surprised this, hands up, I'm surprised this bombed in the way it did, right?
It didn't do out.
Well, right, so that was I remember...
I mean, he won the Heart of Chicago.
a wrestler and I can't remember who it was, but it was just something that's really stuck with me. One of those rare occasions where we have the opportunity to like chat with a wrestler, sort of off the record, but they're talking shop anyway because they love the business. And you listen, it's like, that's interesting. Like, I've never been to a wrestling school or listened to any of that stuff, so it stands to reason. And it might have been Baron Corbin, but I don't want to put it against his name. It's not inflammatory. But they just made the mention of, like, in wrestling school, they were told this thing where you walk out to the ring and there might be 20 people at this indie show you're at, and there's this cardinal mistake that this particular coach hated. Might have even been the Rooster himself, who knows? But like this
Rooster school.
This particular coach said, and the guy will come out there, the baby face, and they'll slap fives, and kids want to slap fives. So then you know that's the clue. They're the goodie. If you've never seen these two wrestle before, there's the goodie, right? And he gets in the ring, and like they're not even locked up, and they're into the stomp, clap, stomp, clap, stomp, stomp, clap. Or like, come on, like that. And it's like, what are you begging for? Because you've done nothing to earn anything. Like, at least like do a couple of drop down tackles and show that you got a good Japanese arm drag on you, and then the fans will be like, and then like the heel will poke your eyes. So and then you go like, come on, give us a hand, and then they'll have a reason to because you've shown them that you're the better wrestler. Some of them will just go out there and in like a panic or in a nobody's doing nothing. Come on, let's go. Like that, and it's just like, oh god, like it's this cardinal sin, and you never see it in proper wrestling because that
kind of just did on Saturday night.
That sort of stuff's trained out of them, and then they've just done a massive bloody great big rollout. It's like, come on, everybody, cheer, it's Danhausen. Like,
Hey, come on, guys.
and to that point, like a hands up
Did
from me,
Danhausen just give me a jar of teeth? Yeah, it's his gimmick cool.
right? A hands up from me. I thought that this was going to go a lot better, and I would have expected it to play out almost the same way. And just would have assumed it would have come baked in with a massive pop because of where they were. Like, my assumption was Chicago loves that Danhausen. This Chicago didn't. Like, Wilbourn pitched, and I listened
Like
to
Bizarro World, Michael.
I heard it, and I thought, that's a really good pitch. Like,
I thought the theme's good, you know, for
Me
them.
too.
For them.
yeah.
You like
Yes.
dancers, Wilbourn.
I did. I thought they were very impressive.
Talented, yeah.
They were the best part of it, probably, for me.
We talked about, on the Elimination Chamber preview, Finn gives up the ghost, and he's like, how are then? Dominic JD gives a hand. And then, like, the crate gets just wheeled out by, like, Eli, the original guy that was brought in. And it bursts open, and it's Danhausen, and he saves Punk, and there's this, like, enough people, because it's Chicago, enough people know of this prior relationship. He chases off Dom, and, like, Dominic Mysterio looking at, what the hell are you? And then he chases him off. Bit of comedy, light stuff, and then he gets to the finish. Thank God.
Jesus, yeah.
They didn't give Punk and Balor to the gobbledygook.
I know, I know.
But I would have thought this would have gone better. Genuinely, we've had this before. What's the rules, man, on these AEW signings? Hobbs got an all right reaction for his name flashing up on a screen. When Punk used to reference the Young Bucks thing, like getting the door slammed in your face. Crickets. I want to win the
Matters if you
WWE
get
title.
your scissors.
I want to win the WWE title. Big pop. Like,
If
what?
he's getting crickets, 2 years ago for these AEW references, and Penta gets a great reaction, so you don't know, maybe it changes from market to market. I think the general trend is, these fans don't really care about AEW. Maybe we should stop counter-programming them at every opportunity. Maybe they're not that big a threat, whatever. Like the Tony Fumble thing was some stupid idiot online trend. Realistically, like, you'd think from certain rollouts to they ain't that over. Like, people didn't know who Rusev was really, or got excited about.
Yeah.
Oh, that cool Miro who's doing stuff in AEW that I had to pretend wasn't cool. But now that he's in the Fed, I can like it.
Penta's not even really an exception because he's a guy, if you've never seen him before, you can't not be dazzled by
Exactly,
it. The
yeah.
whole, like you can see him in an indie
Phoenix
show and be
got
like, Christ,
nothing.
look at Penta.
Phoenix
Like,
didn't get much.
Yeah.
They probably should have learned the lesson. Maybe people don't know who this guy is.
Yeah.
I'm interested in your thoughts on Danhausen.
I was just
I
kind
know
of...
you don't have...
I've
You have
never-
any?
No, not really.
No.
Like, from what I've heard from the guys, he seems like a nice bloke, so I felt a bit sorry for him. That was about it.
You know,
really.
you've seen him on AEW television before.
No, yeah, I know. But I'm saying, like, when they obviously had the
to
interview
watch
with
it
the Brody
bomb, you
King
mean?
shop,
Yeah.
Miller and Phil was, he was really sound.
Stuff. When he puts that
and I
big
was
hat
like,
on, that's really
sounds
funny.
like a nice bloke. Feel a bit sorry for him because they've just gone, go out there. And I'm like, yeah, we all knew it was going to be Danhausen, except some people who apparently didn't. There was like a generational crash out I saw on social media of someone being like, what the f is this? And then I was just be like, ooh. But I have no skin in the game, so I was a bit like, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like, if it had been like the Iconics returning, then I wouldn't have come in and done the podcast today. I'd have like made an excuse. I don't really care.
I think it'll be fine as well.
It's one of those, right, where
It'll probably be all right.
it'll probably be fine. Like, you're gonna have to, be careful given the
Be aware of your surroundings.
the company that I'm in. And to be honest, you two of the funniest lads I've ever met in my life. We have a great laugh in the studio. Genuinely, we do. But, something happens when that logo comes on and you just start being the Mancunian candidates. Like, oh, God, now I know. You no longer, it's like your brain goes out your fucking ears. And then you watch this slop and you find crap stuff funny like R-Truth.
In certain roles, yeah.
When was the last time you laughed at R-Truth?
The Judgment Day run was the proper stuff. Like, really, really
The
genuinely
proper
special.
stuff.
Even you laughed at that on the
I laughed
Raw
at one of them.
WrestleMania.
I laughed at one of them.
He got the payoff. He won the belts with the Miz. Even Sidge got a pop in the Raw the night after. End. R-Truth goes back to being kind of drunk for a while. Crazy thing happens for a bit.
It does feel like a slam dunk he's going to get over. Wacky, kind of silly. There's an offbeat charm, apparently, to the Danhausen character that I don't know if WWE gets. It can be broad, but it's also got this offbeat weirdness that Triple H ever managed to do offbeat weirdness in his life.
This isn't even offbeat or weird, but he's still hated.
Direct this to Wilbourn. I think personally, and we're usually brilliant at this. We're kind of struggling to string our thoughts together and articulate this properly. You continue to try to Wilbourn while I look for a tweet, because someone nailed this on Twitter. Someone nailed this.
Triple H didn't like, was it the Hall of Fame? And I know elements of this now attached to a wrestler who's got his fair share of controversies around him and stuff, but did not like
with this, buddy.
Didn't like the Too Sweet, like getting different noises. He liked the click one where they are like the wolf horn they used to call it or something.
He said, "Why you call it Too Sweet? That sounds soft to me."
Yeah,
he didn't like that.
He didn't like it. And that was just in the way that like an entire young generation of fans had taken on the thing that his old mates used to do, his old cronies used to do, and they'd adjusted it slightly because 25 years have passed.
What did they call it?
I'm sure it was like the wolf horns. It's something like that. A kind of badass animal as opposed to two sweet losers. So there's an element that Triple H has proven to not get stuff that he wasn't like in front of.
Yeah.
Or,
Look, here's the thing. They've saw who's coming up on the free agent. What have you heard, fellow wrestler, about when your ex-colleagues' contract might be due? Everyone kind of knows anyway because it gets reported. All right, this Danhausen dude, his deal looks like it's finally coming up. He sells a boatload of merchandise. Yeah, it's Danhausen. He's not going to main event WrestleMania. Yeah, but look at how much money he's going to make us. Yeah, all right. Feels begrudging.
Jars of candy teeth.
Yeah, there's all sorts. Apparently the T-shirt's already selling like a mother bastard, Like, I'm trying to be nice because we are nearing the end of the day. So what I'm getting at is, it's one of the reasons why I don't like WWE generally. I do not believe this is the wrestling Triple H thinks is good. I think he thinks it's the wrestling, at large, by the way, that he thinks that we are clever enough to get. I think Danhausen is an extension of that, of God, I don't like this prick, but God, he makes money and people are into him, so why not? And I feel like it's going to be a pretty loveless, joyless thing. But we'll see. I can easily see it working.
Super quick counter there. Sorry, Wilbourn.
Yeah. So we still got a lot of questions to get through.
I'll just save like 5 thoughts on the Elimination Chamber and not like having.
Okay.
Is that not a good thing? Like a booker that doesn't get something but tries to book it anyway.
Say again.
If this wasn't Triple H and it was somebody that you don't detest, that's positive broadly, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't get it, but people might like this, so we'll give it a go.
Yeah, potentially.
That's a mindset that's
I think he does it with contempt for my intelligence.
Okay.
So I think we might have not been able to get to the bottom of Danhausen and his appeal and what happened. Let's leave it to O'Shea Jackson Jr. Yeah, El Hijo del Ice Cube.
Oh, God, this guy.
LMFAO, they debuted Danhausen at the effing Elimination Chamber. For those who don't know, new sentence, the dude is pretty damn funny and random as hell, which is why I'm shocked to see them handle it this way. He gets to the crux of the matter here, does O'Shea. But that awkward feeling you felt, new sentence, is where he lives. So, ellipsis Danhausen. I mean, couldn't have said it better myself.
Let's get to the men's Elimination Chamber match. It was, of course, Trick versus Cody versus Logan Paul versus Randy Orton versus L.A. Knight versus Javon Williams.
Love
Javon Williams.
Your tweet didn't help.
Love Javon Williams in this match. Thought he was
Oh,
really
God.
good. Nice to see him finally get a bit of a platform to showcase, that Javon Williams style. That is Javon Williams' heritage right there.
What are you doing? God.
Go on, mate.
Yeah, he stinks, by the way.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
Melt's had a proper rant out of nowhere at him on Observer
I saw
Radio.
how I heard that. Yeah. He just went. Oh.
I really hate this guy.
Yeah, he just
such a
suddenly
funny,
went like,
it was such a funny Meltzer ranks. He's like, you know what? Like, volunteer this out of nowhere. I've never really hated a ring announcer. And then in his own way, he takes 3 paragraphs, but he basically says, on a philosophical level, he hated Lillian Garcia because of the fact that she replaced the Fink.
Yeah.
The Fink was a genius and the best ever to do it. And, they were horrible to Fink, and they replaced Garcia with him because of, like, the aesthetic reasons and all the rest of it. But then he goes, after a while, I didn't hate her. It was just, on principle. I never really hated a ring announcer. Most of the time, they're just there. Some of them are good. Some of them are just there. I hate this guy. And I
it's
get
Mark
it.
Nash's name.
Mark
now?
Nash, yeah.
He's awful.
But speaking of other Williams, Trick Williams, my God.
Oh my god.
I was like, CM Punk's got a threat for best entrance of the night.
He's got to throw for best babyface.
Put him
This
in
dude is over.
put him in the title match at WrestleMania. If you go in multi-man, put Trick in it.
Speaking of hate, actually, I do hate Javon Evans because, as Big E had mentioned earlier on, Javon Evans wasn't born when the first Elimination Chamber happened.
Yep.
Does that not tell you they've been doing this gimmick for too long? Is it so good that it can exist for 24 years?
Like
the
as
Rumble,
it's
I'm not a fan. You never give that up. You'd be an idiot. If I was in charge of WWE, I would do it every year. This can go for me.
Yeah. It's another one of the things that's just put itself in as it's that like old admin thing that you would come up against in old jobs, isn't it? Well, we've just always done it that way.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you keep doing it. You can actually change anything you want. Yeah.
Anyway, Javon Evans, who yelled down the camera, very funny, when he was making his entrance. I'm nervous. Javon Evans and Cody started us off. Trick came in third.
Oh my God, who's in that wooden crate over there?
Three crates and there's a frog in each.
Javon is in there, with Cody. Trick comes in. Trick drops Rhodes, blocks an OG cutter, and then just hits a huge chop. I love how he's just got that over and then just not quite, he's got Booker T references anyway with the double bookend / rock bottom that he hit on both of them. But the way he just like, whoa, the power I've got in this chop. Have you seen that?
This is when you try 28 moves, because when you're this hot and this over, about 15 of them will just become part of your repertoire.
Yeah.
The people's elbow being the ultimate example. He needs to do as much of that as he can because loads of them are going to stick, and then all of a sudden you've got stuff forever. It's the best.
I did pop for, as much as I like the guy, I think his drink is delicious. The bit where Logan Paul came in and they all just decided, right, we're all going to kick the crap out of this guy, and it became like a temporary sort of meme of them all just batting him. But he comes back, hits Cody with a buckshot lariat. LA Knight comes in. They're fighting on top of a pod at one point. This is Logan, Javon Evans, and LA Knight. And Javon and Knight chuck Logan Paul off the pod into the ring, knocking over Trick and Cody, and LA Knight gives Javon a BFT on top of the pod. Randy Orton enters. No one's been eliminated at this point. He drops everyone with power slams, double draping DDT, sets up for an RKO, but Knight fights back and hits him with a DDT. Evans has recovered at this point, and he hits a huge frog splash onto Trick Williams off the top of the pod. But Logan Paul immediately grabs him and hits a wicked-looking pulverizer for the first elimination. LA Knight at one point goes for his LA Knight jump-up diving elbow drop.
Stop doing it.
Slipped. And then just obviously did a normal elbow drop to Randy Orton. And then immediately got low-blowed and eliminated. The
timing of that.
Yeah. Not good. Not
Clearly
good.
meant to be like, you do the big frog. Javon does the big frog splash, and then gets taken out by the pulverizer. You do the big elbow drop, low blow, or maybe
How dare he do that?
Yeah. But this one, it was just like, you botched your move, low blow. And I saw people, this is what I wound up about. I saw people being like, oh, here we go, LA Knight, always the bridesmaid. Yeah, he botched it there. I like LA Knight, and I think he should and will win the world title. A, this was not the show for him to win the world, to punch his ticket to a world title match. And B, I was like, have we not just been through a really popular catchphrase heavy guy getting a shock win to go on to a huge title match at WrestleMania? And look how that all turned out. I was astonished that people were saying that online. Anyway, doesn't matter. He's out of the match regardless. Trick eventually avoided the pulverizer, but got hit with a crossroads. And then Logan Paul chucked Cody out of the way and got another pin. He got 3 in a row. Fans were not happy about that. So I was like, yeah, go on, Logan. Okay.
I like that about you.
But then the masked man, who we thought had been revealed on SmackDown to be some guy from Seth's training school, starts climbing the cage, but he gets pulled off by security and escorted up the ramp. And Postman Pierce unmasks him, and he's like, aha! Who the hell are you? It's just some guy. Trick Williams is still selling being hit with a crossroads and being taken out of the cage. But obviously there's no other security now around at this point because they've taken out this random guy. And suddenly with the door open, another masked man enters. He hits a thrust kick on Logan Paul and a curb stomp. And Cody just goes, all right, 1, 2, 3. Logan Paul is eliminated. And the masked man, the real masked man, is revealed to be a returning Seth Rollins. The crowd lose their minds with this. There's a real moment where, like, Cody's looking at Seth, and it's like, what are you going to do now? But Seth just leaves through the crowd.
I love them too, you know.
Yeah.
I really, really love that Cody, Seth
It felt
thing.
like it was going on an eternity, that as well, of just like, is that all you're here to do, or what?
Part of it is luck. Part of it is that it was attached to WrestleMania 40, which is a really fantastic build. But I love their, like, lore. That it was Seth Rollins for the Cody Rhodes comeback and everything since then between. I just really buy it. Like, Cody's the guy that is the one that makes Seth, more so than Punk, makes Seth feel like he can sometimes matter around it.
And Seth leaves, but the door's still open. And as it is the face-off between Cody and Randy Orton, the final two, Drew McIntyre gets in again to interfere in a Cody match, clonks him with the title belt. Cody and him get into it. McIntyre hits him with a headbutt. But Orton's like, I'm not having this. And as Drew's beating up Cody, Orton turns him around. RKO. Cody grabs him, and Orton just sort of nods. And I love this conclusion. Cody hits the crossroads, but as soon as he stands up, Randy Orton RKOs him and pins him 1, 2, 3 to win the Elimination Chamber, punches tickets to WrestleMania, and, not hesitate like he did last time.
Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm in the United Centre because I thought the first half of this match was boring drivel and really wasteful of the wrestlers in there.
Yes.
And then when we got to the BS, it was hot as balls.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I'll do the disappointing stuff first. Had LA Knight not botched, I still don't think there was a lot of thought put into his run in this match. And as I completely agree, and I think could be his years as much as anybody else. I mean, at this point, they take chances on people and it either works or it doesn't. And I still think LA Knight is worth going all the way with.
First 3 eliminations, first 3 guys, Trick, Javon, and LA, I think were underutilized.
Really badly so. So Javon Evans didn't have anywhere near not the quantity nor quality of high spots, which is the obvious thing you get out of Javon Evans in his Elimination Chamber debut. Trick Williams, now how much does this matter? Trick Williams didn't do a lot physically within the body of the match, but is this where I'm thinking, no, use your brain here a little bit. When he was stood on that pod during his entrance, it wasn't just the advanced height making feel 100 foot tall, was it? That guy, you were like, well, he's money. So it's almost like you really can give him the doesn't matter pass.
Yeah.
I think he's the one guy where it's like, there it was. That was his moment made. It almost doesn't matter how the match goes. But I still would have given him more. I'd have given him a pin. I'd have figured something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe he's the guy that cuts off Javon and gets that pin. And the idea is like, Trick was kind of in charge of things when there was less guys in the ring, and then gradually the numbers get something. I'd have maybe had him go all the way at the end, but obviously in the end he couldn't because of the story. I loved the story stuff. Loved it. Like I thought, we talked about this on Raw. I thought Seth Rollins' payoff was really satisfying when they'd finally gotten to the nub of it on SmackDown with the unmasking, and maybe the fact that it happened on SmackDown, a lot of people skip all that when it's the weekend of a PLE now. WWE's fault, they've kind of made it that way. SmackDown was really good. A lot of stuff going on, and this included.
We'll find out on Wednesday, I guess.
You will. You'll enjoy the tag title match, maybe. The opening segment has lost its juice now because we've had the Chamber, but when you hadn't, like the first half an hour of SmackDown was electric.
I did watch it to fall back asleep on Saturday morning, and Trick Williams.
Yeah.
He's becoming a god.
Hot stuff.
Like awesome.
So nothing was
really pissed off with this.
Nothing was lost with Trick, but
nothing was gained.
Nothing was gained, and that's not ideal. Javon, not a rubbish night for him, just bad agenting. Score draw, innit? You take the point. And we go again. But I loved the bollocks at the end was spot on. Like the Seth reveal was laid out at the exact right time. I need to know that it's not just going to be him and Logan. Something a bit more satisfying there. Drew, like especially off the back of the SmackDown finish, like that was a proper like rare. I think I was starting to like the Drew McIntyre character for the first time on Friday. You know, the SmackDown was so effective with his character in particular, and that
kill him off now.
I know, like right at the death. Bless him. He's gotten something out of it. That last little that was almost unnecessary. The running on that SmackDown, the Jacob one.
Yeah, to Jacob.
You red basted. Like that was like you've gone too far now. You dick. You need comeuppance, and your uppance will come presumably against Cody Rhodes or indeed at WrestleMania. And Randy Orton, yeah, like the finally realizing, learning the lesson, like realizing having made the mistake against Cody once too often. Not now. I'm actually going to take advantage of this. And worst of all, but kind of best because it is storytelling.
Who can he thank for that?
Mally Black.
Alistair Black.
He's actually.
I did notice
on telly.
They foreshadowed it.
Yeah, like
they have foreshadowed this. Otherwise, shock. Here's the difference. Here's the problem. It's Randy Orton in the main event of WrestleMania 42. Are you me?
But it's not, though, is it? He's one guy in a. I'm assuming.
It's either
I know as of right now, it's not.
WWE title match. But
it's either Randy versus Cody, because Cody's fighting for the title on Friday, or it's, the multi-man that we've talked about a lot.
Either way, Orton's still in it, and it's a WWE title match in 2026. Here's my thoughts. The people get desperate to bury this company. Like, they completely overstate it. And I understand, because they're spiritually evil. But the thing is, it's like, you got to do it right. The comparisons to late stage Vince they remain unwarranted. The gobbledygook moment was funny. And there have been like warranted complaints about how stale this main event scene is. And, people saying this is 2019 bad or Triple H is like one of the worst bookers ever. It's complete internet hyperbolic nonsense. You're not doing yourselves any favors when I'm watching SmackDown Saturday morning, bleary-eyed, thinking, God, this Trick Williams is can't miss. He's unbelievable. He is rubbing shoulders with the actual main event crew, and he looks like he's got more confidence and star power than any of them. This is pretty cool to see, and maybe they're addressing these complaints.
When they're not damaged, isn't it?
Oh, God,
Not been damaged by anything yet. Everyone gets damaged eventually, and he's not had it yet. So
he's rubbing shoulders with Orton and Cody, and he's looking like the cock of the walk. He's got the biggest dick in the world. Just so charismatic, so full of himself, radiating star power. And then Orton wins the match that Logan Paul has booked to dominate, and he does nothing realistically. It's like, what? You cannot help yourselves against the accusations. What are you doing with the layout of this match? Again, I would say it's on the scale, very, very low end, because you probably can consider this a disaster. So you can't put on a scale of a disaster. But my God, the way that Logan Paul, and it was just the weird rhythm to it, and it was so much of an anticlimax, and it got those dreaded, kind of groans as opposed to anything else. And there was no rhythm to the way that they tried to get the elimination sorted. Structurally, right, nowhere near the same. Structurally, not unlike 2015 Royal Rumble. Like, God, this guy is throwing those guys out. Same kind of strain of heat that we're after as well. I think of, God, this guy, in the way that Big Show and Kane were. God, these guys, I don't know why wrestling's obsessed with this, but I kind of do. It's because no one gets real heat. So this is it's an awful strain of it. I don't think it's that effective, but people feel it. Like, oh, God.
I think that's a little harsh on Randy Orton, And this is me saying this. We've been.
I know he's more
on the
over than
same
ever.
page. Like, I think
and I know there's more over than ever.
he kind of reminds me of the John Moxley match we were talking about, where in the arena you're like, God, they're happy to see him.
I know, and I
Like-
know there's such a thing as character age as opposed to he is more over than he was. I think his promos are a lot better than they ever were. He actually feels like a real human being at long last. They still have to watch a Randy Orton match on a big stage at the end of this. So yeah, I can see at that point, character age, and he does feel rejuvenated, and he's more over than probably ever in his friggin' life. He's still Randy Orton. I still don't like him. He's still boring. Maybe it's a personal distaste thing and he's more over. Maybe it's like it's just another Cena where, God damn it, people love him. Maybe all of these years of conditioning worked. I had one more point to make as well. I can't remember it, so we'll just go to the questions.
Yes, thank you to everyone who's joined us live on YouTube and sent us questions. I've no idea what it was in relation to, but earlier on, Matt Reigns.
Oh,
simply
sorry. LA Knight needs to stop making a fool of himself every other match.
Yeah.
He's never going to get the push. If Triple H is watching this, month after month, week after week, whatever, like he makes a tit of himself doing that same mistake all the time. It's like you cannot depend on that guy on a night 2 of WrestleMania.
Imagine if
he's
that was
gonna
your
do
finish. Yeah.
Night 2 of WrestleMania and you get a botch. You can't do that. You can't. I'm sorry.
Felt like he added that when he was getting criticism for not having enough like cool stuff,
Yeah.
cool stuff, and I remember him adding that. It's like, well, it adds something else.
Aye.
If you, I don't even
I
think
know.
he needs to at this point. He's got that credibility, but like, yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah, we had just a comment earlier on. I've no idea in what relation to from Matt Reigns that just says no disagreement here, King. Matt also says, happy Monday, guys. Not feeling too well today. Get well soon.
Yeah, well
Need
soon.
this. Football's back-ish. Have a great day, gents. Looking forward to
Football, what's that?
Looking forward to the Gukahausen analysis is what he says. Eric Vasquez, great first name as always, Eric, says, top of the morning to you. Just based on the current pro wrestling sports entertainment landscape, how do you envision WrestleMania 50 looking? Which is...
Randy Orton in the main event.
Yeah,
I'm
probably
not
right,
joking. Jesus Christ.
Randy, they're finally
Hopefully not in Saudi.
we're finally getting our dream card. AEW and WWE at long last. It's Randy Orton versus John Moxley in the main.
Yeah.
Right there, they've kept their spots. 50s, like Javon Evans would be. Barely,
Nah.
hang on, I'm saying he would be barely 30, right? For context,
Knee chance.
it still doesn't feel like he's
Kendall
like.
Gray. There we go.
Kendall Gray,
Yeah.
hopefully. I see John Evans as a really fun wrestler to watch. Like a really talented guy who's breathtaking, and he has this sort of appeal where he just, and this is so important, just comes off as himself, unapologetically himself. He ain't a multi-year WrestleMania headliner. He's not.
No.
He's not. Trick Williams is.
Yeah.
Trick, he's older than you think. I don't think he's headlining WrestleMania 50, but my God, he's got this stuff.
Quasi A says, hey lads, happy Monday. Not chamber related, but do you think the hype of Gunther versus Ilya Dragunov has gone? Ilya doesn't feel on the same level to me.
No, I just think Ilya Dragunov is a horrendous, almost a comedically horrendous fit for SmackDown, especially for WWE's main roster. He's just an off-putting dude whose absolute best quality by 1,000 million miles is his in-ring ability. This the thing that WWE main roster fans don't seem to care about. If they ran back Walter and Ilya in AEW in 3 years or whatever, maybe it would feel a bit Ospreay Ricochet, I think.
Ilya's surely turning heel and probably getting.
That's the only way to get this dude over on that main roster.
It feels like that's what they're doing. It's probably like, if not Mania, the SmackDown before Mania against Mello, because they've delayed and delayed that US title match. If it happens at WrestleMania, that could be your traditional work rate match dying in the stadium match.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? There's always one, and it could be that.
Steve Nicolopoulos says, could I hint some jints? My son had his 2-hour nap between Trick and Cody's entrance. Do you think we're getting the 4-way at Mania, and where would you place it on the card? Middle of night 1, he says.
Oh, God, sorry. I remember that toddler nap stage. Because you'd have like a morning where it's brutally exhausting, and you want the nap to happen, and then you would put them down for the nap, and you're like, oh, look at them nap, and you would just look at them. Wake up soon. Not too soon, though.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the question?
Do you think we're getting a 4-way?
Yes
Or
and
5 or
yes.
6?
I'd have 6 if I could. Anyway, that gets Trick Williams in because it feels like he's being left out of the conversation. I've really, really loved it. Do you know what? For all the discussion about how the Mania card's been torn up and
Quickly check
changed and
Madara.
plans and everything
No,
about
tequila.
how like the Mania planning has been like all 7 different ways, you could make an argument that this multi-man has been built since before Cody lost the title. Because remember those weeks on SmackDown where he had like this list of challengers that all had the same amount of rights to the belt? We're still at that point, right? If you went with, say,
Drew, Randy, Cody,
they're the three. Jacob,
Jacob, he has to be the fourth one at the bare minimum.
Sammy, because
Sammy
of how
and
in the
Trick.
mix he is, and Trick. Now I know that's
I'm back on the Zane train, by the way.
yeah, well, yeah,
After
like his
Friday.
segments have been
Sammy
fantastic.
Train.
Yeah.
Like that does leave out Mally Black, and he's kind of been
no!
he's kind of been the straw that stirs the drinks.
He can be the ref.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Imagine that twat. Freaking.
Legs crossed. It doesn't matter about a Melly Black count.
Doesn't matter if I count to 3.
I'd love this multi-man. You know, I want to look at it. Like it's this title is not the big title this year. That's how it goes sometimes. The big match is the main event. It's Punk versus Roman. It's the Seth belt, but their placement in it elevates it, the whole deal. Give me a multi-man to look at. Fed are really good at them. And it does finally open up that night one slot to one of the women's matches to go last as well. In, as we've talked about, like a celebration of that division just being in better health. Like that would be my preference at this current point.
Matt loves PB in the chat says, in the immortal words of MJF, at best it was mid. Why not put Javon or Trick in the title match and put an over-the-hill wrestler like RKO instead? Which is kind of exactly what
Trick
we're
for me,
saying.
like.
He is over. I will say that. He is over.
John Carter says, Sidge recently mentioned the illusion of choice for Rumble/Chamber winners. If the Rumble winner chooses on the next Raw, for example, could a solution be the winners have a match for first choice?
Ah.
You can do whatever.
You can do whatever.
If there's a year where it suits.
I still maintain that the best thing to do is just to sprinkle in a little bit of animosity or a need to see a certain match. Don't acknowledge that there's a choice. Don't acknowledge because you just make, like, Drew McIntyre look like a tit.
Yeah, it is hard to book
You know what I
around.
mean?
Like if there's already a
Roman had
pre-existing.
no designs whatsoever. It's one of those where you can kind of tell by the booking and who's more over than not, like, what the match is going to be or what the match should be or whatever, what the biggest match is. So it's kind of a problem, but then it's a problem that already exists. You're just putting a highlighter over it, you know? Like CM Punk is a better champion and more interesting guy than in a bigger draw than Drew McIntyre. I mean, you just don't say that out loud on your television program. That doesn't help at all.
The best one they ever did turned out to be foreshadowing something awful, which was, remember that Seth Rollins Cody Rhodes back and forth? Don't fight Roman, pick me. Bloody hell, that's convincing. It's a shame he's obviously going to pick Roman Reigns. He's obviously going to pick Roman Reigns. What's The Rock doing here? Like, but for those few days before The Rock turned up on SmackDown, the world went a bit mad. It was like, fair play, Seth and Cody. You kind of like made me, you've elevated the world title when you know it's not going to get chosen. That's a very smart thing to do. Oh no, it's because of The Rock.
I had a half a feeling, you know. Felt like a sales pitch. Either way, changed their minds, didn't they?
Cody pointed at the Roman at the Rumble, didn't he, under Triple H's instruction? Just on the off chance somebody's been on.
He's already pointed. Sorry, he did the point.
Sorry, Rock.
I know the rules.
I didn't want him to.
Jeff Rainmaker says, hello, legends. Looking forward to the next show. Is the shipping address for where you're staying going to be the same as last year? I ask for no reason in particular. Just don't wait till Saturday night to open things.
Yes, Jeff, you were incredibly generous last year. That box was so generous, even splitting it up.
Yeah, we couldn't
couldn't
split it.
get it back. So I was guzzling, even from me, at a disgusting rate, some at Mountain Dew because we didn't have the suitcase space for it. So thank
Bring
you
me
very
a can back. It's the least you could do. I'm not going.
Obviously,
You
yeah.
didn't know you'd been obviously dickhead. You didn't do it last year.
Oh, I was having
It's not that obvious, is it?
drank 2 cans in the airport, Sidge. Like, couldn't get my suitcase through. But yes,
Just bring one back for me.
I was really
Pitch black, please.
No, Mo. I keep looking around for
Because
things.
what I was closest to pitch black.
Weep.
Tenoda21 says, any chance Tripp goes for one more run with Finn as a world champion?
Oh, Sidge could have one of these now. I'll just have 2 at once and burp it through.
Speaking of which, March 23rd.
Yeah, March. Oh,
Mac-
3 weeks today.
Yeah, Maccas on Smackers. Sidge is going to be join us for a SmackDown review special. Use your special while I'm going to try and eat 100 chicken nuggets from McDonald's. Look, kids, your dad's on the internet. Gorging.
Any chance Trips goes for one more run with Finn as a world champion? If he took a chance on Damien, I don't see why not.
It's one of those where do anything you want with the Seth belt. I feel like Finn is a very well legitimized re-energized vehicle for the Dom push and nothing more.
Agree. It's nice though. That entrance music
wouldn't
coming
rule it
back and the babyface Finn run. I was like, nice. I'll have a bit of that.
Yeah. If Dominic beats him, he beats someone who has been sort of rebuilt as a contender, you know?
Never.
What were you going to say?
I wouldn't be surprised. Not right now, obviously, with Punk and Roman there, but I think previously that the Seth belt I'd have been like,
yeah.
As if the Seth belt had been where it was 2 years ago, let's say, around Seth's waist, and we had this version of Finn Balor, I'd have been like, yeah, why not? What harm can it do? Never know. Lovely message here. It says.
Ring, ding, ding, ba, ba, ba. Ring, ding, ding, ding.
The crazy frog.
Yeah, the crazy frog.
If you have a huge pop from all of us, we'd be like, don't care what those Chicago audience was stupid. That was the greatest entrance I've ever seen.
The frog's got his dick out.
Never not. Lovely message here. It just says, well in lads, just moved up to Newcastle. You boys are the only way I digest WWE now, so nothing to add. Have a good one. So, never not. Welcome to
living in the
Newcastle.
north.
Yeah, welcome to Newcastle.
OG Stem Cell
Hey!
says Trick only taking one Crossroads was bad. The weight after didn't help. LA Knight showing why they don't belt him. Best part of the show was Punk's pick with his and AJ's titles. Great coverage. Cheers. Have you guys seen this?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, Nicholas showed me this. I hadn't seen it before then. It can be a bit off-putting at times, can't it?
Your
Do
favourite?
you find that?
Yeah. Kenny can be off-putting too.
Yes.
Andy B says, not a freaking guy, but liked the Braun turn angle. That match would add to my Mania interest. Braun Breaker versus Seth Rollins.
Trying to hopefully do it with Logan Paul as the backup plan.
Yeah.
Logan Paul backup plan, kind of just chinning your two most by promising you main roster.
If you want to turn Trick babyface, there's your match.
I don't want to turn Trick babyface. It might be
Yeah, that's
complete. It might be untenable very quickly. The dude is too over. He is too over.
You need a deadly game quality swerve
Yeah.
turn with The Rock. Or like an all-time generationally brilliant bit of booking to keep Trick heel just for another 6 months. Just just to almost like stop the water coming through a leak.
Yeah.
Like, people want to adore him. Not yet. Really soon, but not yet. Money in the Bank. Get him to Money in the Bank in this capacity. Let them crowd go nuts from grabbing that briefcase down, and then you can do it from there.
And Andy also says, any matches that they've hinted at for Mania that you'd want to see? I have an answer for this, by the way. If you
What's yours?
El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano, mask versus mask. Book it.
I
Actually ask the dead man to book it, but book it nonetheless.
feel like we're so close to it now, and it'd be such a shame if they like stumbled and didn't book it. They've hinted in as much as there are bloody loads of them. Proper women's showcase / ladder stunt show for the women's tag titles. It's never been in such good health with enough talent to make the match good. The spots won't feel like they're charity spots. You know, it's like there's the Irresistible Forces are good tag team champions that have been crowned at the right time. Yeah, I really want to see that.
I don't give it a great deal of thought.
Sorry, Pontus also just popped me in the
What?
chat.
It's just funny, isn't it? It's the grandest stage, isn't it?
I know it's rubbish this year though. So.
It's rubbish. Never once been rubbish. 25, and even that was one of the best matches of all time. How's that work? That's WrestleMania. That's how.
Pontus Olsen's popped me in the chat, Sidge, because of your gimmick now. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. And I'll leave the final comment here to Mark Lee Willis, who says, pitch, night one, double turn at WrestleMania. Judgment Day side with Balor against Dominic Mysterio. Ray comes to his son's aid. Night two, Dom is there for Ray after Gunther kills him.
They've definitely dialed back the Dominic Mysterio
Dickhead.
massive baby face, like momentum that was around at the back end of last year, and he's kind of
Injuries and stuff.
yeah, it's tricky at the moment. Because I could see that, but then Finn Balor right now, there's a sentimental favourite element to his offering, isn't there? But a little while ago, I said that was the move. Well, I think we all talked about it, like the idea of the father and son reuniting. Shockingly, not least if Ray's just been retired by Gunther, and it's like, well, I'll be your manager forever, my son. You know, like
Yeah.
I suppose Dominic put up on his shoulders. Electric chair on the ramp.
but a loving one.
Is there a heel world title run Seth belt for Dom before the big face turn?
I think there is now. I think there is. I think they've massively scaled back how much of a babyface they were leaning in.
Yeah.
And and this is not Dominic's fault, but in some respects, like Trick Williams has scooped a bit of that love away. Like Dominic's just dirty Dom on Raw, dirty around, dirty and out, and then like there's this heel like who's kind of come out of nowhere in the way that Dominic's Pops did, and Trick Williams is it. So I think you can easily get Dominic back to being a bit of a sleazy prick for another year, and then reboot that babyface because with Liv as well, they've not leaned into Liv being a babyface, and both of them at one point.
Also, it'd be really funny if he takes the Seth belt off Punk. Like Roman tried and failed, but Dom, yeah, no problem.
Tell you what, somebody if Punk survives Roman at WrestleMania, there's a good story in the next person, like the fighting champion fighting too much and falling short. Dom would be.
Was Backlash Tampa?
Yeah, like Dom would be brilliant in that role, or somebody, Gunther getting it back. And he just like all of the things he does, and it's just be the old man.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying being up old people. Save the best one for last, Punk. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Anyway, let us know your thoughts on Elimination Chamber in the comment section below, or an X at WhatCulture WWE. Well, actually, you can follow all three of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett, sort of, at
hamflettx@gmail.com. I'm also on Cameo.
You can follow Michael Sidgwick at
I'm Sidgwick.
You can follow me at I've just remembered, it's a good job he's here actually because we couldn't finish otherwise. You can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. And you can follow our brilliant producer.
You need Nicholas to finish.
Who's been here all along.
Adam Nicholas at...
That's not the first time I've heard of that this weekend. It's Adam Nicholas.
Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE, as I said. Make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. The Raw preview is available right now, and we'll be back tomorrow to review Raw. But for now, it's been the Elimination Chamber review. My thanks to Hamflett, Sidgwick, to Nicholas. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.